Can I bust in with a fun fact?
No,
Yeah,
this is
go
not your
for it.
episode. This is not your episode. No, it's not his episode. Don't allow him, because then he'll make a habit out of it.
I'm allowing it.
Oh my god.
We live together. I'm allowing it.
Don't feed a stray cat, because then he'll never leave. That's what Zach is with knowledge. A stray cat.
Ash and Zach are super smart. They went to college and learned a bunch of stuff. And Bo and Andrew didn't go to college because that's just the way life goes sometimes. What happens when you put them together and you try to make them learn? Grab your friends, let's listen together on Get Dumped on an Info Dump podcast. Hey guys, Andrew here. Just a quick heads up. In classic Bo fashion, he accidentally chose his webcam microphone for his primary source of recording on this for the first 5 minutes of this podcast. So that's why he sounds the way he is for the next 5 minutes. But it also makes it kind of hilarious because he does the intro and it's just all kind of wacky and crazy. So just a heads up. Enjoy the episode. We'll see you in about 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go.
Happy Thanksgiving, pilgrims. Welcome to the Get Dumped On podcast. With me, your favorite member of the crew, Bo. Say hi. How you doing? God, everyone got to my left. We got Andrew. Andrew, say hi.
I've never stood to the left of you. You know this.
Shut the fuck up and say hi.
Hi. Wait, am I supposed to shut the fuck up or am I supposed to say hi?
Do as you're told. And then to my right, we got Zach. Zach, tell the people that you're here. Say hey.
Hey. Aren't we technically both to your right because we're all to your right because you're on the West Coast and we're on the East Coast?
Look, I don't make the rules.
This character is.
It's like Gilbert Gottfried
I'm
at a
confused.
roast.
But
What
also like
direction
a
are
little
you
bit of a
facing right
pirate.
Every time anyone talks, like, shut the fuck up.
And our host that's gracing us today is Ash. Ash, say
about to
hey.
explode.
And
Hi.
tell the people what we're gonna be talking about today.
We're talking about Thanksgiving because it's Thanksgiving time.
I fucking love Thanksgiving.
Shut the fuck up. I hope your neighbors hear you. Like the windows are open and your neighbors are hearing you right now.
Who's that strange man in Bo's house? I gotta go. I
so
hope
angry.
you guys enjoy your podcast.
I'm sure this is so awesome to listen to.
Oh my god, it hurts. It hurt.
It sounds like it hurts. It sounds like it hurts.
Like the
Most of
back,
our good feedback when Bo does his intros, people like those more. So
the back
Yeah.
of the back of my head hurts, like behind my ears. The strain.
Really forcing it out.
I put
need to go to
it
the
Does that
fucking
mean you're about to have a,
The blood
are you
rushing
gonna
to
have
your
a
head.
stroke?
Yeah, I think the blood is rushing to my head, and not that head. You know what I'm saying? Hey, let's give it up. What do we? Okay. Hey.
a live
Okay, well-
aneurysm on the podcast.
All
We're
right,
talking about Thanksgiving. We're going to talk about the history of Thanksgiving. We're going to talk a little bit about Thanksgiving food. Yeah, it's going to be all about Thanksgiving because it's that time of year where we celebrate eating a bunch of food.
Yay! And this episode
Hell
comes
yeah.
out the day before Thanksgiving, so you can listen to it while driving to wherever you're going. Hopefully, it's someone you like.
Yeah, so if you're
Or
going
hopefully
right
it's
now,
not like-
pause it right now.
Yeah.
It's Wednesday right
Pause
now.
and wait till you're gonna go.
Don't fucking listen to it. Just pause it, and then wait till tomorrow.
Wait,
Okay?
hold.
No, listen to it before Thanksgiving so that you can have something to talk about on Thanksgiving in case
Yeah.
you are awkward in social interactions. It'll
Or
be
your
fresh in your
racist
memory.
uncle starts
Yeah,
saying
like when
racist
they get
stuff.
exactly as soon as racist uncle starts saying racist stuff, and then it gets really quiet and nobody wants to call him out on it because it's just the way it is.
That's why my
then
family gets
you could be
quiet
like,
around
hey,
me.
does anybody? Then you could be like, does anybody know the Thanksgiving facts? And then Ash got you right in your ear right now. Go.
Well, yeah.
All
Unfortunately, there is a lot of racism in Thanksgiving facts.
Oh God damn it!
This
my uncle's here.
episode's
Your
gonna
uncle's
be
gonna love this.
sad, because the history of Thanksgiving is the history of Indigenous people in America, and
Yeah.
it's a bummer. So we're going to talk about it.
Thanksgiving, Pilgrim.
But so if we're going to back, because I like to go back to the very beginning instances of things. So if we're trying to think about the beginning, like the history of Thanksgiving, when was the first Thanksgiving? what is Thanksgiving other than a feast in which you are giving thanks to either a bountiful harvest or the land or your community. I don't think you can say that there was a start to that. I think that people have been doing that forever. There's a hypothesis called the feasting hypothesis, which says that domestication happened because of feasts and large gatherings where people are coming together. What is the first Thanksgiving? Who knows? But American Thanksgiving stems from a specific incident. And I wanted to ask all of you, like, what was the story that you were told about Thanksgiving as a kid? Like, what did you learn in school? Do you remember? Because I don't really.
I remember making turkeys by drawing an outline of your hand,
putting
on
little
a piece of
hats on
paper,
them.
and then cutting it out and putting them on the wall.
Yeah, totally.
I remember something along the lines of, this is very much like, late 90s, early 2000s school of the Americans are great. We met with the indigenous Americans and we had a party and we were like, hey, let's hang out. Let's be thankful for each other or whatever. And that's all I remember about like the first time that was taught. And obviously that was wrong.
Bo, do you remember any specifics?
I remember the lies my grandma fed me about, oh, here's your pumpkin from Halloween. I made pumpkin pie. Well, I'm glad she's dead.
Wait, what's wrong with pumpkin pie?
Because
We're
his
talking
grandma
about
would say
Thanksgiving.
these were your Halloween pumpkins, and she would pretend like they were the same pumpkins that she baked into a pie.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
yeah.
We
The
went
more
over
goes deep.
Call back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm remembering now. Well, so what they told us in school that I remember is that the Pilgrims were running out of food. And
That's what it was.
Yeah, they were running out of food in their first winter or whatever. And the indigenous people came up and like took pity on them and gave them a bunch of food. And they all had a big feast together. And they taught them how to farm and stuff like that. And they had a big feast together. And then and they called it Thanksgiving. And then everyone was friends forever.
Yeah, everybody lived happily ever after. So yeah, that is the general story of what everybody gets told, at least in American elementary schools, that, everybody was friends.
And everyone knows that American elementary schools are just centers of scholarship. Where
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not the most sanitized version that you're going to teach to kids. So this is the section of the podcast that I'm calling the Plymouth Feast, aka the story they tell children, but only some of it so that it seems nice and not sad, and also to justify the fact that the land we live on is stolen and built on dishonesty and racism and blood.
Yay.
We won the land. That's bullshit. We ain't gonna take that. Go us.
My
did it.
country
We
did
did.
something.
Jesus Christ.
So we all know that's not the real story. And as much as I want this to be a fun, like, what's your favorite Thanksgiving food episode, you can't in good faith talk about Thanksgiving without recognizing the atrocities that were committed against indigenous people.
Yes,
so we're going to talk about it.
We can't. We cannot.
doing
We
it.
can just skip it. Okay.
So the people in Plymouth Colony arrived on the Mayflower in the early 1600s. They were struggling to adapt to life into the Americas. They were not doing great. They were faced with hunger. People were dying. They were really bad at living in America. The people who already lived there, the Wampanoag Confederacy, didn't immediately introduce themselves to the invaders, and the colonists didn't either. The Wampanoag people had had a bad relationship with English visitors previously. They had come a few years prior, kidnapped a bunch of people to sell them into slavery. English diseases had decimated their population. It's estimated that the Wampanoag...
Wait. Sorry. Who kidnapped who? I assume I know the answer.
People kidnapped Wampanoag people to sell
Got
them
it.
into
Yeah, I knew
slavery
that.
in England.
Okay.
English diseases also decimated the Wampanoag population. It's estimated that they lost about 2/3 of their population during this time, which is about 45,000
Holy shit.
people.
So
What
the natives
the
are
fuck?
so the natives are like me, not vaccinated. Okay.
And really immune to diseases.
I'm the problem. Okay.
Yeah, that goes to show you, though, like, how fucked up the Europeans were disease-wise.
They were also disgusting. They didn't bathe regularly. It was bad faith to, like, be naked in front of each other, so people weren't, like, taking baths, because, like, communal baths were a big thing in the past,
Let me
They didn't
guess.
wash their
They
clothes.
didn't want to be naked in front of each other because of religion.
Yeah, it can't be the devil. The God wouldn't like it, and you don't want to appease the devil, so.
And then they got sicky and gross and yucky. Ugh.
Yeah, and they didn't brush their teeth, and it was bad. And so they had really low population numbers. So they were finding it difficult to fight off, the Wampanoag people were finding it difficult to fight off their enemies that were to the west, which was the rival Narragansett group. So the leader of the time of the Wampanoag Confederacy, the title is Massasoit, and his name was Osamaquin. A lot of people called him Massasoit, but his name is Osamakwen because they didn't understand that Massasoit is just designating the leader of the group, and they thought that was his name. But his name was Osamakwen, and the way I see it, Osamakwen, who was the leader of this group, was really stuck between a rock and a hard place. He had enemies to the west, the Narragansett people, who were subjugating his people. They were forcing them to pay tribute taxes. And then he had enemies to the east, who were kidnapping his people and bringing diseases and making their home on his land.
Jesus. Like getting it from both sides.
Yeah, so the question comes up sometimes, and especially when I was researching this, like, why would he have done what he did, which is enter into a peace treaty with the Plymouth colonists? Most people come to the agreement that, it's kind of between a rock and a hard place.
I'd say it's a smart move. Like, be like, hey, don't fuck with me, bro.
And so that's what he did. He sent a man named Samoset as an emissary to enter into negotiations with the English. During the negotiations, a man named Tissenquem acted as a translator, and Tisquantum. And Tisquantum, also called Squanto, was a Wampanoag man who had actually been kidnapped in those raids many years previously and was sold into slavery in Europe. And he lived in England for like 5 years before escaping and finding passage back to the Americas.
Whoa. That's fucking... So I remember the name Squanto from the stories that Squanto was the one who was like the person like on the indigenous people side.
Yeah,
but
this is one of the
wrong.
This is one of the, again, a part of the sanitizing of the story that we were told in elementary school, is because they would say that Squanto was the one who was kind of like the emissary between the two groups, right? He was like the translator, but they never really said why he could speak English. They were just like, oh yeah, he'd met other people and he could speak English, but they were never like, oh yeah, no, he was kidnapped and lived in Europe for 5 years.
Zach, the real story is he's indigenous to the Americas. And then stuff happened, and then he knew English.
Yeah, he was living in the area, and then he spoke English.
And he was really smart, and he knew English.
Yada yada yada,
yada yada, the yada yadas.
And that is true that Tisquantum, I didn't write the pronunciation. Tisquantum was the one who taught the people at Plymouth Rock about harvesting and planting crops. He lived with them for well over a year. So the treaty that they brokered provided mutual aid against other indigenous groups in the area. The Wampanoag people and the people living at the Plymouth colony would both protect each other against all of the other indigenous groups in the area.
Enemy of my enemy.
I'm sure that there is some catch here. I mean, they were probably planning to exterminate all of them anyway. And they probably, I'm going to predict that they did not honor the deal in some way or another.
They honored the deal only until the guy who signed it died. It lasted one generation until Osamakwen died.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Well, how long was that?
It was...
Don't ask for the questions. Kind of bad. Don't ask for the questions. Just it wasn't bad.
I think it was 40 years.
Oh, even better.
It was... Zach. I think it's like the only successful peace treaty in any sense of the word between an indigenous group and English colonizers.
I mean, we all know how good they were at, being peaceful for English.
And during this time, the Wampanoag brought gifts to the people at Plymouth Rock. As we said, Tisquantum taught them. It was perfect timing, too, because it was right during planting season. So if they had been, waited a little bit longer, they may have missed planting season and not been successful, but Tisquantum taught them planting and how to care for crops and how to be successful farmers. Some historical sources say that Tisquantum was a traitor to his people. It's rumored that he was actually poisoned by his own people, and that's how he died. He would take refuge with the English, because the people thought that he was favoring the English people over his own people. They thought that he was using the fact that he knew English to his own advantage and not doing deals in good faith, essentially being like a sellout and a race traitor. Regardless or not of Tisquantum's final fate, he was the one that, it seems like it was really Tisquantum's help and him living with the colonists that helped them survive and be able to be on the land and succeed. When it comes to the actual feast of Thanksgiving, the first Thanksgiving feast, there was a big feast at the end of that harvest season because they were excited that they had a bountiful harvest and they were doing well going into winter. They likely didn't invite any indigenous people to the feast. It was not a big party where they were all celebrating together. It was just a party at the Plymouth colony. Oral traditions say that the Wampanoag people heard gunshots and cannon fire coming from the colony one night, and so they investigated warily with a group of like 90 men, like, hey, what's going on? And they found that they were not fighting, but rather that they were celebrating. So as a show of peace and a contribution to the Harvest Fest, they returned with 5 deer that contributed to the feast. And I don't know if they did end up eating with them or not. It like wasn't super clear.
I hope so. I really do.
Yeah.
Because like if you bring me 5 deer, like one deer disgusting, they're covered in ticks, but that's a really nice sentiment. And I would let you in my home for some deer meat.
No, it is a good to mention that when you eat a deer, you take the skin off, so you don't have to worry about the ticks.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
And celebratory harvest feasts were well known.
I don't think that anyone's favorite part of the deer is the skin. It's not like chicken.
Deer skin, crispy. I love it.
Well, you deep fry. My favorite part of KFC is the skin.
It's the deep fried deer.
Covered in deer
Crispy
fur.
deer skin?
I love it.
Crispy deer skin.
Oh, give
God.
me that crispy deer skin.
Crispy deer
Yeah,
skin.
now that I'm thinking about it too, they
It's
probably didn't bring them
finger-licking
live
good.
deer. They probably brought them dead deer that were like
they're
here's the
prepared for
meat.
eating. Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't just like leading them on a rope like here.
Come on, like leading them with a trail of grain.
Yeah.
How would you even catch a deer, man? They're wily. They're
Hey
fast.
man, the indigenous Americans, they had fucking nature figured out. All right,
That's true.
I'm not gonna ask
That's
questions.
And celebratory harvests were well known to local populations, especially the Wampanoag people. The like regular celebration harvests and thankfulness harvests are practiced wildly in a lot of different indigenous groups, but especially groups in the Northeast Woodlands, which is what is now the Northeast America and some of the Midwest and some of Canada. But spiritual practices of reciprocity and thanking the gifts of the earth are central pillars to the Wampanoag and many indigenous nations, continuing even into the present. In an article in history.com, a Mashpee Wampanoag tribal member named Mother Bear said, "When I was young, we were taught by our grandparents and great-grandparents to believe that the purpose of life is to be in a state of thanksgiving every day.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice.
And more people should take that on. It's a really nice way to live and to honor the earth and each other, and it's nice." And that's it. That's the story of Thanksgiving in truth. It was a harvest feast where there was a peace treaty between two groups, but to boil it down
40 years of peace.
But to
But they
boil
weren't
down,
invited.
It would be. I mean, it would be chill if there was more than 40 years. This is not
Yeah.
really that long.
Oh no, it was
In the grand scheme
it
of
was a
things.
death pact. First person to die, it got over. Unfortunately, Chief so and so died. Okay,
Jesus
I'm
Christ,
sorry.
bro.
Sama
You
Quinn.
used to-
So they settled it the old Navy way of first guy to die loses. Got
yeah,
it.
it's like yeah, exactly. And we got the treasure. We win. Go America. My country.
but to understand and boil down the story of Thanksgiving to just those two simple truths of there was a feast and they were together and it was like a nice time is extremely disingenuous to the entire picture of the colonization of America.
I hope they eventually invited them because, like, they were peaceful for 40 years. I'm hoping that some of those years they were like, "Hey, buddy, you want to go over
We're
for dinner?"
genuine at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, was it peaceful or was it just not
It was-
killing each other?
It was
Like,
just
there's a
not killing
difference
each
between-
other.
Same.
I
And it's-
call that
there's a
peace.
difference-
I call that peace.
Okay.
And it seems
Were
like
the-
it was still pretty tense.
Yeah, was it peaceful in that they just weren't killing each other, or was it peaceful in that they were actively friends with each other? That one feels a little less likely.
Yeah.
I hope there was at least some people that were friends with each other. They're like, "Hey, bud, like, I don't care," and the other side was like, "I don't give a shit. Let's hang out and like, go do nature stuff." And
This is also just one native, like one indigenous group in an area that had a lot,
Multiple groups, yeah.
many groups, like not just the Wampanoag, but there were the Pequot,
And not just the
like,
Narragansett. Yeah, there's
and
many groups all around this region.
yeah, and the Pequot particularly famous for, well, I don't want to say famous for, but a very important event in their history around this time was when the English settlers just raided their fort and killed pretty much everybody. That was a cool
In like
time.
under an hour, it was like one of the worst massacres.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really terrible.
Jesus fuck.
So, like, just because they were friends with the Wampanoag doesn't mean that they weren't committing massive atrocities.
And,
to
and
all the other
immediately
groups in the
after
area.
Osama Quin's death, they started stealing more land, committing more atrocities, attempting to assert more control in the region.
God damn it, you guys.
Basically, immediately after, it led to a conflict between the two groups that ended with the killing and capture of thousands of indigenous people in nearby groups, and eventually combined with the rest of the colonization of America with the genocide of millions of people. All in all, 90% of the indigenous population, or somewhere around 56 million people, have died in the Americas due to genocide and disease from foreign people invading their land.
Okay,
And
maybe
so-
don't discuss this at Thanksgiving with your family.
But you know, to preach to people that it's about, you know, togetherness and happy fun times, and then to never talk about it, especially during this time when it's like at the forefront of people's minds, it's kind of fucked up. And it's a lot of indigenous people
Yes.
don't celebrate Thanksgiving at all because they see it as a celebration of the death of their people.
Yeah, that's valid. 100%. Not taking that away from them. That's fucked up.
And so what can you do? Well, what you can do is recognize that it happened, talk about it,
No.
and say, you know, we don't want to
Obviously, we
celebrate
don't
that
support
history. We don't want to celebrate
Yeah.
that history. Instead, we want to celebrate what people would want to celebrate, like what we talked about earlier, which is being in a state of thankfulness every day for being able to have plentiful food and being able to live on this land, even though we recognize that it was not freely given, and, you know, hang out with your family and give thanks, while recognizing that it is kind of sad.
Happy
Another
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. It's a little bit sad. Thanksgiving is one of those things where it's like it's a little sad.
Well, it is one of those things that took on a mind of its own, though, I assume after a while, because
Yeah. So the
it's
reason
not really about that anymore. It's not really about the
No.
first harvest feast and
no.
all that
Kind
stuff.
of like
It's
how
just
Christmas
about being
isn't really
thankful.
about Jesus
like,
anymore.
Exactly. It's
Exactly,
being
yeah.
about thankful of what you accomplished in the year and what your family and all that stuff, because it's, you know, the end of the year's coming, and you know, Christmas is right there, so they had to shove something right between it.
Well, so
Thanksgiving.
But how much do you talk about Jesus on Christmas?
That's the first thing we do when we walk in the house.
Yeah.
Jesus!
Merry Christmas and thank you, Jesus.
That sounds like it's the second thing then.
oh
Listen,
yeah, so you first said Merry Christmas and then you said thank you, Jesus.
yeah, but my
Yeah.
you know my first thought is Jesus. When I wake
Mm.
up in the morning, I go, Jesus.
I thought it was King Henry VIII of the Turkey Lake.
No, that's before I go to bed.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah,
Open your eyes to Jesus and close your eyes to turkey.
that's how I live my fucking life. Like, oh, okay, I'm the weird one. Okay, guys, whatever.
I also found out a wild fucking fact today while I was doing this research, which is that we're going back to Bummertown a little bit. I'm sorry.
Yay.
Yay.
No.
So many
No.
people died during this time. And according to an article published in Science Direct in 2018, so many people died that it affected the Earth's climate because the
Dude.
loss of the populations in the Americas led to vast amounts of land to become unattended, which caused more CO2 to be drawn from the atmosphere, which caused a overall cooling of the planet, also referred to as a little ice age.
Interesting. Isn't that what happened with Genghis Khan too?
Oh, is it?
Well, one of the people, I think it might have been Genghis Khan. He killed so many fucking people during his time that I think the same thing happened.
That's crazy.
That's fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up.
That's a crazy.
But also, the Earth is really hot right now.
Well, it's not right now. This was a while ago, Andrew.
Yeah, but like right now though, like this is the hottest summer we've ever had on record.
I'm sorry. What exactly are you suggesting, Andrew?
I'm not saying anything you're not thinking.
It would be super
I'm
chill if
thinking
like a
of
couple
Jesus, so
million
you're thinking
people
of
died.
Jesus.
Maybe not die. Maybe just like went on vacation
To
Mars.
to the ground.
Oh my god, you guys.
Hey, it's overpopulated as fuck out here,
You
man.
have to be very
Things are
specific
expensive.
about which people you think should be going to the ground.
Just a randomized random number
Like,
generator.
Draw
Just-
out of a hat and then boom.
Damn.
yeah.
Anyone with a
Old
net
Yeller
worth
style.
of anyone with
Old
over
Yeller
$1 billion.
style.
And like, you know, like people who claim to not like Milano cookies.
Oh, damn.
Oh yeah.
Bo,
that's
get
some
ready.
criteria.
Say goodbye to your
Oh my
kids.
God.
To fill people
okay.
in. Bo yelled at me because I told him I was eating Milano
No,
cookies.
don't say I
Didn't like
fucking
them.
yell. I didn't yell
He
at you.
screamed
No, he
in
just
my
went,
face.
ugh, they're gross.
Yeah, that,
screamed
is
in my
that
face.
yelling? Okay. Oh, I again. It goes. Let's go take a after Bo. Okay. Different.
Oh my God, that's me.
So massive bummer aside, we're going to make a hard pivot. We're going to do a rough pivot. I'm real sorry. It's going to be rough. We're just going to make a really hard pivot.
Let's do it. Rip the Band-Aid off.
And we're going to talk about food. So one of the questions that comes up when you're thinking about the history of Thanksgiving is what food were they eating at the first Thanksgiving? And since we're talking about the event that stemmed the American understanding of Thanksgiving, we're going to talk a little bit about what foods were available to them at the time. So they had venison, since they were provided with venison.
Without the skin.
Without the skin. They did a big wildfowl hunt. So this was probably geese and ducks and maybe turkey, if they were around.
What about ticks? Did they have ticks?
Yeah, they had ticks in the turkey. I did learn in the last episode that the turkeys were indigenous to the Americas. So
yes, turkeys are from the Americas.
I think Bo told me that fact in the last one.
What a shit bird to have, like, as our bird, you know?
What's wrong with turkey?
What do you
know
mean?
turkeys?
No, but look at a turkey and go, that's a cool fucking bird. Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
No,
And
That's
turkeys are
exactly what
so
Zach
cool.
would say.
Okay,
you just
so-
did the perfect Zach impression.
When's the last time you actually saw a wild turkey in person? Because they're really
a year ago, actually.
they're really great birds. We see them every once in a while here, and it's always a special occasion because they've got that cool feather in front.
When I was in NorCal, there were so many birds. I wanted to go park in a parking lot because we used to go get drunk at a golf course bar. And the first time I noticed turkeys, and I just found out, like, oh yeah, they're just like everywhere in Northern California. And then like they were looking at me, and they were in a group together, and I didn't trust them. I didn't fucking trust them.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't.
Yeah. Like,
No, you
imagine
really
golfing.
shouldn't.
They were hogging the greens on the golf course, and you know how fucking taboo that is. They walk over my line. Andrew knows.
Those sons of no respect.
And the turkeys at this time probably looked a lot different than the turkeys you're imagining now. They were much leaner, much smaller, not
I don't
all
know.
boob.
Some of those toms can get fucking huge, man. The males are called toms.
Oh, so the last time I saw a wild turkey, I was at Bevmo. Wild turkey to drink to alcohol.
Okay.
Oh my god!
That took a minute.
I get it.
I'm like, okay, and what happened?
Yeah, I was in Bevmo, and there was a bunch of wild turkeys running around. It was fucking crazy.
I thought you were walking out Bevmo, and you're like, oh fuck, there's turkeys everywhere.
And then you dropped your bottle, and then they drank it, and they got drunk.
It's like, everyone scatter.
Next people on the list, the people who make bad jokes and people who defend turkeys.
All of us.
I'll defend turkeys. I think turkeys are cool.
I didn't expect the turkey hate. I always thought they were fine.
I think turkeys
Franklin
are
was
fine. I mean, as long as they don't walk
on
on
record saying that the turkey should be the American like mascot animal instead of the bald eagle, and I think he was onto something because bald eagles are awful.
Well, yeah, turkeys are more American if you think of like the style of America, you know, especially the turkeys that we have now that are completely plump and overfed. And
the domesticated turkeys, just like
I mean, essentially,
Americans.
we're all just a bunch of domesticated turkeys right now.
Actually, my favorite turkey is the
turkeys make
turkey
a cooler noise than bald eagles.
That's true, but they still suck.
Your what favorite turkey, Bo?
The one that gets pardoned.
Oh, that gets pardoned.
The pardoned one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pardoned a couple turkeys every year.
Commits a lot of crimes and goes, I'm up for pardon. Come on, Biden, pick me.
Okay,
help me out.
Back to Thanksgiving foods. Venison, wildfowl. They would have definitely had maize, beans, and squash, also known as the Three Sisters. The Three Sisters is a companion planting technique that's often attributed to northeastern woodland tribes, especially the Iroquois Confederacy. But the name Three Sisters comes from an Iroquois legend, which is that the corn, beans, and squash are all inseparable sisters that were given to the people by the Great Spirit.
Huh.
It's a really big horticulture tradition in a lot of different indigenous groups, and it's a planting technique that's still in use today for obvious reasons because it maintains high yields, it promotes healthy soil, it suppresses weeds, it attracts pollinators, it promotes genetic diversity, it requires a lower water input, it all without pesticides or fertilizers. This technique's been in employment for hundreds of years, and they would have benefited from it at this time. It's a practice going really far back. Yeah, the crops complement each other in a variety of ways. So the maize provides stalks that allows the beans to grow. So the beans use the maize stalks maize is corn, as bean poles, which lets them grow tall. The beans make the soil rich in nitrates, which is good for the growth of all of the plants. And the squash is extremely leafy and low to the ground. It provides ground cover, which keeps the soil moisturized, and it protects it from animals and pests with its spiky leaves.
That's fucking how?
That's
How
great.
are you figuring that shit out?
We're really good at growing plants.
Well, then again, like back then, they didn't have the distractions we have now. You know,
There's no
somebody was
internet to rot your brain.
over and over and over
Yeah.
and over, and then they're like, "What if I just did it this way? Holy fuck, this is great!"
It is generations of knowledge culminating.
And I feel like, and I feel like the early days of agriculture and horticulture and whatever, there's probably a healthy amount of trial and error.
Yeah, hundreds of years of failure, and then like, oh damn, Three Sisters all the way.
And another good thing about the Three Sisters is that they each provide a really important component of a healthy diet. So corn provides carbs, beans supply protein, and squash are rich in vitamins.
I like that. I've never had like a Three Sisters casserole before at Thanksgiving. I might actually try that this year.
That would be rad.
Yeah.
You should do that and tell me how it goes.
I will. I'm going to cover it in ranch dressing.
America. Another good thing about the Three Sisters is because they're all from a different crop family, they're susceptible to different diseases and different pests. So they're more resilient than monoculture. So if you were to plant all of the same crop and you get like a weevil that, eats it, you're going to lose literally all of your crops. But
Whoa.
because the three crops are all susceptible to different things and they're kind of interspersed with each other, it helps to protect the plants and makes them more resilient. It also helps with diversity, like genetic diversity, and keeping the plants themselves nutritious and strong.
Nice.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah,
That's fucking awesome.
It's one of my favorite things to talk about is like the Three Sisters horticulture, just because it's so rad and it works so well and it looks really cool. I know that's dumb, but like the way that the gardens are laid out and like the plots and the way that the plants interact with each other is fucking rad.
It seems like it would look cooler than a old-timey turkey. But what do you think?
I don't know.
Fuck.
Just hates turkeys.
Turkeys, dude.
The people living at Plymouth Colony also probably would have had cabbage and carriage, cabbage and carrots and maybe peas.
Oh my god, I was trying to figure out what you were trying to say. I was like, Cabot's like Cabot the cheese? Like that's a brand.
Carrots, cabbage.
Hey, wait, hold on. Remember that one time that Bo was like, we only make fun of Bo whenever he missays things.
Well, okay, well, no. That's different. We're all thinking, what is that? You make fun of me because like you know what I was trying to say. That's different. So don't try to. Don't try to turn it around.
I was going to say we could make fun of Ash right now to make you feel better, but now I'm not going to.
I say things wrong all the time.
Yeah, I know, but that's different, right? Because we're all like on the edge of our seat, like, what is this food that she's about to say? It's different between what I do. So
I really was on the edge of my seat on that one. You were right.
The double C's got me.
Cabbage and carriage.
They would have had all of that they brought over from Europe. Fun fact. Here's a fun fact that you can bring to your family gathering. If you remember nothing else or bring nothing else up, here's a good one. Fun fact. Cabbage, kohlrabi, broccoli, kale, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, collard greens, and gailon are all varieties of the same plant.
Really?
They're all different variations or varieties of a wild mustard plant called Brassica oleracea. Is that how you say it, Zach?
I think it's Olasera.
Oh, Olasera. Brassica olasera?
I don't know.
Some plants, but so different parts of the plant are emphasized to get all of the different varieties. So like broccoli comes from the leaves and Brussels sprouts comes from the seed buds or the stem buds. Kale comes from the stems, like
Brassica oleracea.
Oleracea.
Did you hear that?
Brassica oleracea.
Yes.
Does that pick up on my microphone?
It did. Brassica oleracea. So bring that to your fun fact. All of those that I said, cabbage, kohlrabi, broccoli, kale, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, collard greens, and gailon are all the same plant.
I don't know what gailon is.
It's when you misspell your friend Dylan's name.
I don't know how to spell it. Oh, Chinese broccoli.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see what that is. It looks like
it's a leafy green.
It looks like
Wow, okay, cool.
Fuck me. What's the one? Bok choy. It looks like bok choy.
In addition, they also would have been eating fish and mussels and shellfish. It may have been too late in the year for some of these, but no doubtedly they were right on the sea, especially mussels. Sea life probably made an appearance on their plates at this time.
Dude, I love me some mussels. They're so good.
Can I bust in with a fun fact about shell middens?
No.
Yeah,
this is not your episode. This is not your episode.
Shell mittens?
It's not his episode. Don't allow him because then he'll make a habit out of it.
He's
I'm
like a
allowing
tick.
it.
As soon as you let him in your home, he'll start
my
eating
God.
all of your.
We
Yeah.
live together. I'm allowing
Like,
it.
you don't feed a stray cat because then they'll never leave. That's what Zach is with knowledge. A stray cat.
Okay, so a midden is
That was a
an
really good
archaeological
analogy,
term.
bro.
It actually is a really good one, but I'm just
That was
going to
great.
bust in with this one because it's a fact that I like. Is a midden is MIDDEN is basically an archaeological term for a really big trash pile. And so shell middens are these gigantic piles of shell that are food waste, and they go back hundreds of years, 1,000 years. You can find them all along the coast of the U.S. From like the native groups and, colonizers and everything like that. Eat the shells, put them in a big pile near the coast. But the interesting thing about that is that they would also throw away lots of other trash in the shell middens. And some of our only organic preservation from this time period is in these shell middens because the soil on the East Coast is very acidic. It dissolves wood, bone, any sort of organic material that gets buried in there. So
Good to
that's
know
a
for
big
future
blind-
murders.
It's a big blind spot in archaeology is this sort of like organic preservation on the East Coast because the soil is so acidic. But the rotting shells are basic, and it cancels out the acidity of the soil, and it
basic.
allows for an environment that's really good for the preservation of organic material. And so we get a lot more like bones from other animals, like wood artifacts, sometimes cloth and rope in places where they wouldn't otherwise be found. And I think that that's really interesting. Okay, I'm done.
That was great. That was cool.
Thank you for that fun fact. Another fun fact that you
Good
can
job,
bring.
stray cat.
They also,
Wow.
if they were learning from Tisquantum, he probably showed them how to harvest nuts and berries and fruits. It was a little later in the season, so I don't know that these would have been available for eating. Maybe they were dried. Maybe, especially there's a bunch of chestnuts. The Northeast was lousy with chestnuts. Some things that you may notice are missing from this list. Potatoes. No potatoes of any kind. Potatoes do come from the Americas, but they were in South America. And they had actually made their way out of South America by this time, but they hadn't made their way back to this area of North America.
Do you think that it was in North
Interesting.
America at all, apart from like Mexico area, or was it slowly creeping?
I don't know about the specific of the timing. I do imagine it was in the Southwest
All right.
because they had really extensive trade networks.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know.
I don't know for
I
sure.
don't know for sure.
But my guess is that, yes, there would be potatoes in the
Cool.
Southwest. Also, notably, you will see that there's no dessert. They didn't have any sugar, so there was no dessert.
Yeah, where was their stupid? What's that thing with the marshmallows on top of it that I hate?
Sweet
Sweet
potato
potato
casserole?
Sweet potato casserole. Yeah, like where they did. Obviously, you just said they didn't have potatoes, which I assume also meant sweet potatoes.
Yep, no sweet or white potatoes, no red
I'm a smart
potatoes, no
person.
types of potatoes.
I
Did
listen.
did they have Milano cookies?
No Milano cookie, no sugar.
Oh,
They did
no.
not.
Poor
No flour.
people.
Hey, you calm down.
They would have had some refined sugar,
Son of a bitch.
but they had depleted it all by this time. So they had brought over some sugar, but they didn't have any left. And there was no sugar in this area in North America.
You know they ate that shit real quick. And then they're like, oh no, we're out of sugar. No,
sugar, we can't have our
We have
pies."
to eat vegetables now. Gross.
They probably would have had pumpkin. Pumpkin was one of the squash varieties that was available at this time. And
So my grandma was around there making pumpkin
Yeah,
pies.
Bo's grandma was from the.
was lying about
that time.
pumpkins all the way back in 1621.
She was very old.
And the corn was prepared in a specific way where it was mashed up and it was more like a porridge. So it wasn't like corn on the cob, but it was more like a hearty
I'd eat
base
that.
of corn.
I would
a
like
cream
that.
corn
Like
situation.
Well, I mean, no cream because they didn't have cream.
Smushed
but
corn.
Oh yeah, good point.
no animals
Corn
to
paste.
make milk.
Mashed
Corn hummus. Essentially, it's corn hummus.
Mashed
Oh,
corn.
is it kind of like the masa inside a tamale?
Masa.
A little bit, yeah. It's like a mashed corn dish.
What if I showed up to Thanksgiving? We're having a Friendsgiving this year. What if I showed up there with just a bowl of mashed up corn? I mean, like, this is a historically accurate.
I think that you should do an all American food, like foods
Like
that come from the
true-
Americas.
The first Thanksgiving feast, what they ate, and it's gonna be horribly underseasoned. Everything. It's gonna be awful.
Oh yeah.
No, you can just use spices that aren't salt and pepper.
Nutmeg.
There's plenty of different spices that you can use.
Chestnuts? Did you say they're lousy with chestnuts?
There was chestnuts, corn.
I was just going to bring a bucket of chestnuts.
Corn, beans, and squash, geese, duck, turkey, venison, like plums, berries, nuts, fish, shellfish, cabbage. Not cabbage. No cabbage. Cabbage is from the east.
I think a bunch of people are allergic to shellfish at the place I'm going to, so I should bring
Okay,
shellfish,
don't
and
do
be
that.
a selfish shellfish guy.
Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
I'm going to eat it in front of him.
First your wild turkey joke, now this. Get the fuck out. You're done.
You
You're done today.
selfish. Try to say that. Selfish shellfish. That was hard.
You're
Selfish
done.
Selfish
You're done today.
shellfish.
You're done today.
Selfish. Selfish shellfish.
Selfish shellfish.
Say it 5 times fast. Go.
Selfish shellfish. Selfish shellfish. Selfish
See?
shellfish. Selfish
Now you're
shellfish.
just saying
Selfish
shellfish, and the shellfish isn't a word.
Selfish shellfish.
Shellfish.
Selfish shellfish.
Bo, you're up. Go. Maybe this is like a reverse thing where Bo can't like speak normally sometimes, but if we tell him
Tongue
to say something
twisters, he's got
complicated,
it.
he's
Yeah.
got it in his fucking mind. Bo,
Oh yeah, I believe it.
Bo, go.
I'm not even going to indulge this.
What if I give you $5?
Selfish.
Venmo in the way.
Wait, I thought you said you were banned from Venmo.
No,
He
I
said he got it back.
was. Yeah, I got it back.
Oh, okay.
Not illegal stuff.
Bo was banned from Philly, and Bo was banned from Venmo once.
And now,
I was
obviously,
for- I
we
was
eat.
for
running it.
Going
You
back to
said-
Thanksgiving.
I thought you said Philly. I was like, wait, Bo was banned from Philly
He was
too.
banned from the entire city of Philadelphia,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
gross and dirty people there.
especially on Thanksgiving. Going back to Thanksgiving, we obviously eat a really wide variety of foods now. But so why do we celebrate Thanksgiving like now? Like, why is it a national holiday? We all like know the story that we were told, but like what happened to actually make Thanksgiving a national holiday? So after the colonial times, there was an unfortunate tradition of using the word Thanksgiving to commemorate in feast form celebrations or victories, heavy quotes on victory of the quote unquote American people against indigenous people. So like after major battles or after they
No.
got land, or they would celebrate with feasts and call them Thanksgivings.
Oh, those fuckers.
Then it transitioned into as like a general way to use to call a celebration of good fortune or bounty. Like so just celebratory feasts in general started becoming called Thanksgivings. Their specific presidents would declare a day of Thanksgivings. They weren't always on the same day, and they weren't always in the same month. But some years they would say, we're having a Thanksgiving on this day. But here's a little question for you. Which president declared Thanksgiving a national holiday? George Washington, John Adams, or Abraham Lincoln?
So you said some presidents changed the day, so obviously it's not George Washington because he was numero uno.
I think it was Abraham.
It's got to be.
Lincoln.
It's got to be Abe. Abe did some good shit.
Good old Abe.
It
We're
was
going
good
Abe.
old Abe on October
A
3rd,
tall ass, wrestling ass motherfucker.
1863. After the Union victory at Gettysburg, President Lincoln proclaimed that November 26th would be National Thanksgiving Day, and it should be observed every year on the fourth Thursday of November. But the real story behind that, it doesn't lie with Abraham Lincoln. It lies with a woman named Sarah Josepha Hale. Most of the credit of the establishment of an annual Thanksgiving holiday has to be given to Sarah because she lobbied for over 30 years that Thanksgiving should be a national holiday. So
Why? What was her reasoning?
So Sarah Hale,
She just loved having dinner in November.
a prominent writer and editor. She was also the original writer of the poem Mary Had a Little Lamb.
What?
She was
Fucking royalty.
Yeah, really good.
Everyone knows that.
She was
that's that's a fucking banger.
Yeah, as a banger. She was a prolific writer. She wrote a lot of things. She was really she published a lot of articles specifically regarding advocacy for women's education, raising funds to construct national monuments. She was really liked history. And she grew up. Apparently, there were regional areas that would regularly celebrate an annual Thanksgiving holiday, like a bounty holiday. And she really enjoyed that aspect of her upbringing. It was a fall tradition that was popular in parts of the nation that she would often write about and say, to speak to the benefits of a day, a specific fixed day that you should be giving thanks. She thought that it was a unifying measure that could help smooth over tensions between the northern and southern parts of the country. And she just generally believed that it would be a good thing for America to do. She didn't like invent the idea of it, obviously, because as we said, feasts of thanks are a popular thing all over the place. But she just really liked them and thought that we should be doing them in America.
Never happened before her.
It was party planning to the nth degree. She was really trying to end the Civil War with turkey.
With eating food together.
She was trying to do her own Friendsgiving. That was the origin of Friendsgiving.
Essentially, yeah, that's it.
And by 1854, more than 30 states and U.S. territories had Thanksgiving celebrations on the books. But it was not a national holiday until Abraham Lincoln in 1863. She wrote him yet another letter, and apparently at that time, I don't know if he was like already thinking that it should be, or this pushed him over the edge or what, but he agreed, and Thanksgiving was set on the day that we know. And then we started getting crazy with it, and commodity, and we have a lot of things available to us, so we started making crazy stuff. I started putting marshmallows on stuff.
Yeah, you gotta calm down with that.
What's y'all's favorite Thanksgiving food?
What a transition. I don't like food.
That's the boldest face lie that I ever heard.
The bolus face lie?
But yeah, that's what she said.
I'm a pumpkin pie guy.
That was a callback.
I'll fuck up any pumpkin pie that I see. My mom makes a really great pumpkin pie. I will.
He's punched so many pies.
Eat it all,
fight it with his mouth.
Mom, if you're listening to this, I love your pumpkin pie. I'm excited to come home and have some pumpkin pie.
Your mom makes good food all around. It's always
Hey, Zach's mom, if you're listening to this, please do not make any pumpkin pie this year. None.
It's the best part of Thanksgiving for me is the pumpkin pie. The other thing that I love about Thanksgiving is when I was a kid and we would have sparkling cider.
Oh yeah.
The
Martinelli's action. Yeah.
Yeah, the Martinellis.
That's interesting that you say that, because I think everyone drinks that. I've not met a single person who hasn't drank that at Thanksgiving.
I still like it, even though I'm a full adult. Like, I could be drinking champagne, but like a lot of the time I'm just like, give me that grape juice, baby.
Yeah, it's apples and grapes, and it's yummy. The mine is like real stuffing. Like not. I mean, don't get me wrong. The box stuff is fine. I'll eat it.
You a fan of sausage in your stuffing?
But yeah, I'll take it. I'll take. There was one time our sister Alex invited me to a Thanksgiving at her friend's house, or her house. It was all her friends were together, and she invited me out there. And our sister Alex, if you don't know her, she's fucking nuts, bro. She cooks like a goddamn champion.
Also
for
an amazing
every
cook,
fucking meal. So I remember I walked into the house, and there was just trays of bread everywhere, like they were cut up in cubes, and they're all different kinds of bread.
She does make good stuffing.
They were just sitting around the house, and I was like, what's happening? And she's like, oh, I'm waiting for these to go stale so I could do something with them, and then we could make a stuffing with them. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, you're not making it out of a box? It'll take 10 minutes? She's like, no, this is taking me like a week already. And it was like, she was so good. It was, yeah. So Alex, that stuffing is good. I like stuffing. Stuffing is tasty. Yum.
I'm a big fan of potatoes. Potatoes are always my favorite part of any meal. Mashed potatoes, cheesy potatoes, au gratin, just like any variety or prepared potato is going to be my favorite. It's so good.
Yeah, potatoes is very much on par with the stuffing in my world as well. It's so good.
Bo,
don't lie to us.
Well, now I'm going to.
Don't
tell me what to do. No, I'm a big mashed potato and gravy guy, but I'm also one of the few people. I don't want to say few people. Why did I say few people? I'm not a few people. Whatever. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Don't listen to me. Anyway, I'm also like, we do ham, and I'm a big ham guy. Give me a honey. I love ham. And then I get the rolls, and I make little sliders. So I put one slider, ham,
good call,
and I slap the mashed potatoes and gravy on that. And it's a mashed potato ham sandwich.
Like turkey's fine, but ham is great.
I love ham. If someone was like,
ham slaps. Yeah.
Would you prefer ham or would you prefer turkey? I would pick ham every time.
Ham every time, day and night.
Do you guys like green bean casserole? Because I do.
No, I don't.
I'm not ashamed to admit it.
You gotta put the crispy onions on it.
The crispy onions?
The crispy onions?
Crispy onions.
They are very
crispy onions.
I don't usually like green bean.
I know it's a hot button issue.
I usually don't like green bean casserole, but I do like green bean dishes. Like,
I love green beans.
Again, our sister, one year she made really good, like it was like green beans and onions sauteed with some, like, I think it was like probably like a little bit of white wine and like butter. Oh man, so good.
Oh yeah, that's fucking great. But like the traditional, here's a bunch of canned green beans that have been probably canned for the last 7 years. Throw it into a thing with some Campbell's cream of mushroom soup and just throw it in the oven and see what happens.
Cream of mushroom soup?
It is cream of mushroom soup. And I don't know who the fuck thought this thing up. Weirdly, I like it, but it shouldn't exist. It's an abomination. I'm still going to eat it, though.
Yeah.
One year, Zach's mom made twice baked sweet potatoes. And so she like baked the sweet potatoes and then like hollowed them out and then mixed the filling.
She's like, this ain't enough. And she threw it back in there.
And mixed the filling with, I think it was like goat cheese and shallots. That maybe there was nuts.
The hell?
And then put it back and then bake them again. Oh, they were so good.
What kind of fancy shit is this?
Real fancy. Really good.
Our family ate everything out of a box.
That's not true. That's not true.
The mashed potatoes were that shit that it's like powdered. You just mix it with water and then it becomes mashed potatoes.
Not from our mom. She would never make box mashed potatoes.
Someone in our family used to do that.
It was
and it really made us really sick.
I'm glad you're there, Ash, to call him out on his lies.
Don't eat those, people. Don't eat those.
Your mom doesn't
Get a
seem
potato.
like it's a mashed potatoes type. I don't think that Ash could have become as much of a
potato aficionado.
A potato, yeah, a tater
head.
tot. Yeah, a tater head.
A tater tot.
If your mom was the box mashed potato type.
No, our mom's a good cook. She makes good.
Mom's very
good
cook.
Food. It was our aunt.
I was making a goof.
Sounds like you were telling a lie.
You lying
about what? Wait, I was telling a lie about goofing, or I was goofing about telling a lie?
You
were telling a lie, and thus you were goofing.
Said it was a goof.
No, someone in our family did do that, but it was not our mother.
Oh no, you're a liar.
Okay, Andrew's a liar. We're moving on.
Cool.
I mean, there's nothing really else to move on to. That's the history of Thanksgiving.
What's your first Thanksgiving memory?
Food.
I don't think I can answer
that.
When I was in like first or second grade.
How do you remember this shit?
In school.
You even know the location. How do your brain
it's a school
is fascinating.
Memory. Of course it happened in school.
Dude, I don't remember school at all. Like, period.
Well, obviously, if it was something that happened in first. I just remember being in elementary school and they were like, everyone go around and write down. Everyone go, well, no, because like preschool is older.
Oh my God.
I don't remember anything about preschool except that there's this table that they filled with dish soap.
No, preschool is a daycare.
It's not school. It's preschool.
It's a daycare. It's not.
Okay, well, so I was in elementary school and they told everybody in the class to write down what you were most thankful for Thanksgiving. And I just remember everyone going around the room and reading theirs afterwards. And they were like, I'm thankful for my grandpa. I'm thankful for like something great. And I wrote, I'm thankful for Transformers.
I knew it.
Yeah, there it is. It all comes full
You have a
circle.
Transformer on your desk in front of you right now, don't you?
I have several.
Heads up. Still thankful for Transformers.
Still thankful for Transformers. There was the only a couple of years.
You all right?
Previous a couple of years after that, when I was in like third or fourth grade, we did the same thing. And a few weeks earlier, I had almost flipped my dad's lawnmower onto myself.
Oh my God!
When I was mowing the lawn, I went like at an angle, like on an incline.
It was a push lawnmower too.
No, it was a riding mower.
I'm trying to make the story more
How old were you?
8 or 9.
Young.
And I said I was thankful that I didn't get killed by the lawnmower.
Yeah.
Times were different in Connecticut back then. You can just do whatever you wanted.
Or 2000s,
Should this be bleeped from the episode? Is this going to get my parents investigated?
You're an adult now.
You're an adult.
I mean, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I wanted to be driving
crimes against children have statute of limitations? Because we could totally get this going.
Here's a question.
I do remember when my dad got the ride-on mower, I really wanted to like ride on and like mow the lawn, but my foot couldn't reach the like pedal.
Wait, so did you write that you were thankful that you didn't get killed by a lawnmower?
Yeah.
That's a good thing to be thankful for.
Okay. That's valid.
Yeah. So that was actually, I only remember that because I felt proud that I had thought of something good to be thankful for.
I did. I survived.
I didn't die. Here's a question for y'all. When you do Thanksgiving meals, are you a like put everything out in the kitchen and do it buffet style and then go sit down type of family? Or are you a everybody sits at a table and like passes around things and everything is on the table type of family?
Buffet style.
The latter.
Everything's in the kitchen. You hungry? Food's up. Come get it.
That's how we would do it growing up.
That's how we did do it growing up. But this last Thanksgiving, we actually hosted a Thanksgiving, and I put everything out on the table, and it was awesome. Because
I
we
don't
were
think
just
I don't think you could go wrong either way.
Yeah, we were just slopping away. Just
Remember that really nice Thanksgiving that we had at your apartment at like.
Yeah.
It was the first time either of us had seen anyone since COVID started, and we like hung out in your apartment and had
Ate a lot of food.
We
And
ate
then we
so
had
much
to-
fucking food.
And then we had to get COVID tests to re-enter
Oh
New York.
yeah, I remember that. And that was like when getting COVID tests was like a whole process. Like you couldn't just go
Yeah.
to CVS.
We had
like
to
you
go
had
through-
to fucking call somebody.
we had to go through a drive-through line at like a set up like tent center behind the university, and they did it while we were in the car.
You're trying
Yeah.
to figure out if you're going home or not. I remember that. That was fun. In my tiny little apartment. But we had a good time.
Yeah.
It was good.
So, well, then what, like, I know we're at the hour mark here. What is everyone like thankful for, just in general? Like, tell us about
Transformers.
Now's braggadocious time. What are you thankful for, either about your own accomplishments or stuff that's happening in your life, or just shit you're thankful for?
We bought a house this year, and I'm extremely thankful that we were privileged enough for that to happen. It's been really awesome to have
That's
a
that
house that
podcast
we
money.
own. Yeah. And we live close to family now, which is really nice. Haven't lived close to family in a really
Yeah.
long time. So it's nice to be able to see your family a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I was going to say. So
Yeah, we know that's
just
exactly
put a
what I was
ditto
gonna
on me.
Oh, apart from Transformers.
Yeah,
And also still Transformers.
Yeah.
And always for my cats, because I love my cats more than I love life.
Oh, kitty.
Yeah, nothing's going on right now. Well, maybe next year. Ask me.
You're not even thankful for this podcast?
I get made fun of on it. What? Wait,
Yeah, you also get to make fun of us.
You did yell at us, though, at the beginning of this to shut the fuck up a lot, which I think would make you feel
that
better.
wasn't me. That was my crazy uncle.
Oh, that was crazy. That was crazy. Crazy
Oh, is
Uncle
that
Bew.
what the character was?
That's Uncle Bew.
I don't want to get serious here. I'm gonna start
Hey,
crying.
you
I'm just
got
kidding.
kids. Yeah. You got, well,
I
your daughter
got-
betrayed you recently. The people don't know about, she uninvited Bo to a soccer party, and now I think he hates her.
I don't. She's still in a row. Okay, I'm thankful for half my kids. Just kidding, boy. You're included too.
He's
Oh,
going to
my
listen to this
kid.
one day and just fucking
Really
murder you.
sad.
The lady I live with, she put the podcast on when picking up from school one day. So he actually might one day slip in and hear
This
that.
is not a podcast for children. Don't let your children listen to this podcast.
He's 11. He needs to learn. Jeez.
He
loves
lives with
it.
Bo. He lives with Bo. Do you think he doesn't know things?
He actually loves the fact that I do a podcast because like he wants to try to get into YouTubing because he's a kid this age. So he
I'm
actually
thankful
likes
for
the-
that.
So he wants to like, he sees that I'm doing something like similar to that. So he's like, it's giving him motivation to actually pull the trigger to do it and everything.
You're a good role model.
Huh?
I'm thankful that Bo's son is inspired by Bo. That's my thanks, not yours.
Okay, but what's your real answer?
Well, obviously, I'm thinking, my answer is my kids. I'll always
No,
say my
no,
kids.
not
It's
you,
always gonna be
Andrew.
My kid. Oh,
Oh.
I take it back. My kids suck.
Just kidding, it's Transformers.
Transformers more than meets the eye.
Autobots use the power
Roll
to
out.
defer the evil forces.
Oh, yeah, I'm thankful for a lot of things. My beautiful wife, my two fluffy puppies, all my friends, my podcast.
You love your wife? Gay.
Gay. Butter chicken curry I'm thankful for that because it's fucking great. Mexican food. I'm just going down food now. It just always dwindles down to food stuff.
I think
burritos.
that answer
Is that cheating on
encapsulates.
Thanksgiving by saying you're thankful for Mexican food?
I'll eat Mexican
No,
food
it's
any
not.
day of the week.
I think that it
On Thanksgiving.
encapsulates how we should celebrate Thanksgiving these days, which is to be thankful for the things that we have, be thankful for the land that we live on, be thankful that we are safe and that we have people that we love and that we're able to benefit from a bountiful harvest all of the time. And we should be kind to the earth and we should be kind to each other. And go to nativeland.ca and see who lived on your land where you live before you did.
Before Manifest Destiny took over and ruined a lot of stuff.
And we're still doing massive genocide of turkeys right now, and I'm all for it.
There's lots of genocides happening.
Keep
Listen,
them in
the world that we live in
keep
is a
them the
nightmare.
ground. Keep them
Yeah,
in the
man,
ground.
it's a scary fucking place, and I hate it, and I'm not thankful for that.
And a lot of people don't have a lot to be thankful right now. So the fact that we're sitting here on this podcast warm in our houses with our talking about what food we're going to eat that's readily available to us,
Now she's getting preachy. What
I'm recording this
I
outside.
mean-
It's 30 degrees. I'm freezing.
First,
Okay,
we're
well,
talking
you
about
could go
soul and
inside.
land, then we're talking about other people. Oh my God, can we just talk about the food again?
Well, I mean, we already said what we're thankful for, so we don't have to say what we learned. But like, hopefully, if you're driving to your friends and or family's house for this and listening to this, which would be fucking nuts,
You didn't learn
good timing
anything?
by us. I mean, I did learn stuff, but I mainly learned what my friends were thankful for.
I think that the big thing that you should bring to your Thanksgiving celebration is
Knives.
force everyone in your family to
Forks.
listen to this podcast.
Forks.
Make everyone listen to the podcast and make them tell their friends to listen to the podcast.
And then you all talk about Thanksgiving.
And
And then you
me.
all talk about how Bo is handsome. Yeah, exactly.
No, I am handsome.
But forks are still important. You can't eat food cleanly without forks.
No, you can use your cleanly. I'm glad you said cleanly. Okay.
Yeah.
I am going
If
to
you hadn't
regret
said
saying this.
cleanly.
I know it for sure, but Bo, you took us in. Take us out.
Cool. Hold on 1 second.
Always go.
Uncle Bill!
Hey, I'm back, everybody.
He had to crawl out of the racist basement.
Hope you enjoyed this podcast.
Oh God,
that
Bo,
my
it's bad.
nephew
It hurts my ears
does.
really bad. I don't like it.
This is the way
Can you go get Bo, please? Can you bring Bo back and let Bo
It's
do the
kind
outro?
of like a more fucked up Randy Savage, and I love it.
He's dead. You can't.
Oh,
I'm
gosh.
the new podcast host.
Oh.
Hey, how do you feel about Slim Jims?
Oh, I love Jim.
Couldn't get that one out.
Now.
Just like he's about to snap into a racist rant at the table.
Okay, Andrew, can you take us out, please?
No, he shouldn't. I'm here to do it.
Now you're just Randy Savage.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Randy Savage, take us out.
Okay, you got me for 3 minutes of intro.
Thank
Anyway,
everyone.
thank
Thank
you.
everyone for listening to the mic.
Yeah. Anyway, everyone, thank you.
Bo's voice is about to blow out.
Thank you for listening to the podcast.
I'm not done with them yet.
Yes, you are.
It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Savage.
Anyway, Zach, what are our socials?
You can follow us and Get Dumped On Podcast at Instagram.com.
God damn it. I
Send
hate
us an
you.
email to getdumpedonpod@gmail.com.
Don't do that.
It's the other way around. Follow us on Instagram at getdumpedonpod. Send us your favorite Thanksgiving emails. Then email your favorite Thanksgiving comment.
No,
with
your favorite Thanksgiving
memories.
emails. Any
Send
email
your
you get on Thanksgiving, please
send the
forward it to
emails
us.
to getdumpedonpod@gmail.com.
Get dumped on podcast at gmail.com.
Get dumped on podcast at gmail.com. God damn it.
I'm gonna write it on a sticky note and put it on your monitor.
Okay, Zach, they should know by now. Anyway,
Why aren't they the same? I hate myself.
Not thankful for that.
Anyway, Ash, thank you for a great episode, even though half of it was a bummer because, oh no, Europeans and Americans are bad. Whatever. Treaties were great. Ooh, no, people's lands, we stole them. Whatever. Who cares? We got good food out of it. Anyway,
Bo's like, I'm not going to go into the semantics of who stole what.
But
It's terrible.
thank you for
Let's
a
not
great
bicker and
thankful-
argue about who stole who.
You know, I'm thankful for our host today, and I want to say thank you, host,
Hey,
Oh,
for a
thank
great
you.
episode. And I love
Thankful
all
for
the
Ash.
ones, and we're thankful for Ash. Everything I'm
And-
thankful for Ash.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And I'm
thank you
thankful
for
to the
Ash.
listeners. Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
And
unless you're
give it up for the
driving,
listeners.
like, round of applause. Thanks for Ash.
Yeah.
But if you're driving,
If you're
keep your
driving,
hands on the wheel.
hands off the wheel,
but have somebody slap you in the
but-
chest.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
They'll make
No.
noise.
If you're driving right now, just go put your hands, get your hands, okay? You're driving right now, get your hands. All right, you got your hands. All right, now put them on the put them on the steering wheel.
The
10 and
wind-
2, you know? So 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock if it's on a clock, except instead translate that to the positions of your hands on the steering wheel, okay? So you got your hands, you got them on the steering wheel, you
Didn't
got
they
them
say
at 10 and 2.
isn't safe anymore?
then
Now they want you to
What
do
you got to
it,
do,
like-
what you got to do, you got your hands, you got them on the steering wheel, you got them at 10 and 2. And now what I want you to do is I want you to take your hands and I want you to just jerk them to the right as far as possible.
I need.
I think it's 3 and 9 now.
I got something for you guys to do. I want you guys, if you're driving right now, go ahead and use your knees to steer. Use your knees. You know, now you're driving with your knees. Keep them at.
Everyone does it.
Get your knees at.
We all are, like, bored with that.
Get
Fucking
those
9 and 5.
knees out, baby.
I've
Then
never
knees
done
are
that.
9 and 5. Now roll your window down.
But you say
And
put your
just-
knees at 9 and 5.
Yeah.
What a
Wow.
weird place.
9 and 5?
9
That's
and
an
5.
interesting.
Okay.
Well, let's see. 6 and 8. 5 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 and 8. Yeah.
5 and 8.
So That's where
5
you
and
keep
8.
your
That
knees.
seems
That's where you
weirder.
Well, no, it's on the bottom. It's the bottom half of the clock.
No, I get it.
Yeah. Now take your middle finger out. I want you to flip to the car next to you. Just flip them off. Just flip them off.
I was gonna
Both
say,
fingers. Both fingers.
keep your hands attended
Double
to.
bird. Double bird for Thanksgiving. That's called the turkey.
It's called a turkey.
And especially if you're at a red light too, just keep it there until the light turns green. Just like double bird outside until that light turns green.
Double bird all the way,
No.
baby.
Don't listen to
look
Bo.
at him.
Don't
Just
listen to
look
Bo.
at him.
Keep your hands
to me.
attended to. Keep your hands attended to. And then just start slapping your knees together to try and clap.
Rev your engine like you want to drag race.
That would hurt.
That
Okay,
hurts. More
bash
than
your face into the steering wheel.
until the airbag pops
Into the
out.
horn. Into the horn. I'm clapping. Look at me now,
so
Dad.
that's the car clapping. If you think about it, the car clapping would be you opening your door and closing it all like really quick. Like, pop,
Oh
pop,
yeah,
pop,
do
pop.
that.
It's
Do that on the freeway.
Do that on the freeway.
Also, roll down all
If
your
there's
windows.
a passenger in your car, and if there's a passenger car, have them do it too, so that you can be slapping both sides
Oh,
at once.
no, I got it. You know when you're driving really fast and you roll down one window and then it goes fa, 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 in your eardrums?
Oh, yeah.
That's the car clapping too, technically.
Yeah, but also blast
do
this
that.
podcast while you're doing that too. Like,
Yeah.
or just like, and just horn honking, knee slapping, middle fingers up while blasting this podcast.
I think we've been wrapping up for 10 minutes.
And we'll forever be thankful for you. All right. Well,
Happy
This is-
Thanksgiving.
get dumped
Happy
on.
Thanksgiving.
Welcome to. Say goodbye. Okay.
Doing it
Oh my
again.
God.
Okay,
All
bye.
right, start it over.
Yeah, bye. Goodbye. No, goodbye. We're leaving.
Ash and Zach are super smart. They went to college and learned a bunch of stuff. And Bo and Andrew didn't go to college because that's just the way life goes sometimes. What happens when you put them together and you try to make them learn? Grab your friends, let's listen together on Get Dumped on an Info Dump Podcast. Do a turkey impression. Do a turkey impression.
Oh, fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. and your fucking turkeys.
gobble. Bring
Gobble, 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 gobble. I thought it was a turkey, David.
I swear to God.